Good day to all the audiences. Welcome to the 16th series of International and Domestic Virtual Colloquium, which is also known as COMAT 2022. This is organized by the International Languages Teachers Training Institute, Kuala Lumpur, or better known as IPG KBA, and today's theme is Going Global, Internationalizing Education. I am Logeswari Subramaniam, your moderator for today's session. I will be hosting this interesting and exciting session today. We hope all of you will stay tuned until the end of the session because we have an esteemed speaker in today's webinar entitled Redesigning Technology for Dyslexia, the use of mobile application to support language learning. Before we begin, allow me to lay out a few housekeeping matters. Today's session is being recorded to be available for viewing via EduWeb TV KPN. Firstly, every participant who joins this webinar will be given a certificate. Therefore, do not forget to register with the link provided in the display screen. Secondly, if you have any question for the presenter, kindly use the chat feature in this live StreamYard webinar and questions will be answered at the end of the session. Now let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, the word dyslexia originates from Greek, which implies difficulty which is associated with words. Dyslexia has been reported in approximately 1 in 10 people, threatening at least 700 million children and adults worldwide with lifelong illiteracy, reading disability, specific learning difficulties, or even reading disorder are some common terminologies associated with dyslexia. Although in reality, dyslexic people have not been successful, but a few people with dyslexia can change the world, and this includes Bill Gates and Albert Einstein. In 2022, The Star featured an article entitled Don't Leave Dyslexia Pupils Behind. According to the author, it is reported that 10% to 15% of the primary school pupils are dyslexic. Hence, a teacher must be prepared to critically and creatively impart knowledge, and scholars believe students with dyslexia are more geared towards processing visual information. So with that in mind, we have Dr. Mariam Muhammad here with us today to cruise us through about dyslexia, the use of mobile application to support language learning. Let me give you a brief introduction about our esteemed speaker. Dr. Mariam completed her PhD in mobile learning, University of Southampton, UK. She is a senior lecturer at the Centre of Instructional Technology and Multimedia in University Science Malaysia. She is also an instructor in National Vocational Qualification Department in Malacca. Some of her work includes the development of sign language mobile database for hearing community, physical multimedia learning system of 3D geometrical shapes for preschoolers, and many more research. So let's get started. Dear viewers, the COVID-19 pandemic has created challenges and caused learning disruption across the globe. Face-to-face teaching has shifted to an online format. For some children, this shift is rather challenging, especially children with learning disability. How parents and teachers can support these children is very crucial to ensure learning is not hindered in the midst of this crisis. Joining me today again, Dr. Mariam, to talk about dyslexic and mobile learning. How are you today, Doctor?
Hello, good morning, Miss Logus, our moderator, and also our participants today. All right, I'm okay, very fine. Looking forward to share my knowledge and expertise with all of you today. Right? Feel free to join me. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, perhaps I could get you start by helping us understand what is dyslexia and perhaps the interventions pertaining to dyslexia. The floor is yours, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much again, Miss Moderator. All right. I've been introduced by Miss Logaswari, our moderator for today. But again, I would like to add some information about myself. Okay, I'm Maria Muhammad from University of Science Malaysia, senior lecturer. And in my free time, I also dedicated some of my effort to help the special need people. For example, I'm the advisor for the Secretariat Insan Istimewa, which is called SISWA. This is a special need students association in USM. Okay, I'm the advisor for it, and I'm also the committee member for the Malaysian Association of the Blind, or we call it MAB. Okay, before I proceed, I would like to add more about the definition of dyslexia, even though it has been introduced by our moderator just now. Okay, from according to International Dyslexia Association, dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin, meaning that those who have dyslexia, who, for example, the dyslexic children, they might have, I mean, their ancestors or maybe their great great grandparents have dyslexia as well. So it is run in your family. So if now your children have dyslexia, maybe in the future, their family also have these learning difficulties. So dyslexia actually is characterized by difficulties, okay, which accurate, for example, difficulties in recognizing alphabet, like the most typical difficulties of alphabet recognition, for example, alphabet B and D, okay, and then some will misunderstood about the alphabet M and W, P and Q, okay? And sometimes it can be numbers as well. For example, number 1 and 7. So this is a sign if someone is having uh, dyslexia. But it's not only about alphabet, but when the time goes, those dyslexic who already master the alphabet recognition, but when they can read or they can spell, they will have later the decoding disabilities, meaning that they can read, but they cannot decode or they cannot understand what they're reading. Or if they understand, but it will be in a slow rate compared to those who don't have dyslexia problem. So these are the definition by International Dyslexia Association, even though actually it's more there is more symptoms than that, but that is the what is it called, the foundation of the definition. Okay, so far the interventions are divided into three types. Okay, first is sensory activities, and then second is software, and the third one is lately we use mobile apps. For sensory activities, which is a traditional methodology for dyslexia children, is we use tactile letters. If you can see, tactile letters are the block of alphabet that can help the children recognize the alphabet by touching and also by seeing. Because when for normal children, they can recognize the alphabet by only seeing the alphabet on a book, for example. But for the dyslexia children, they need additional method, for example, by touching the alphabet to recognize and after that memorize uh, which kind of alphabet is that. Okay, and then we can also use clay or plasticine, for example, to help these children to mold, okay, to create something from the clay of plasticine. They can make their own alphabet, okay, by this plasticine and clay. And then we also have a software, for example, text to speech software, which transform the text into audio. So this will help the dyslexia children to read faster, okay, because have this software rather than traditional method. And then mind mapping software. Mind mapping software is a software that can help these dyslexic children to arrange their idea. Okay, the we can find this, for example, inspiration software where children can draw, okay, draw the idea into mind mapping rather than write it in words or sentences. Okay, the next one, lately we have mobile apps, for example, audiobook apps. So rather than reading the book, the children can enjoy books while listening to the audio books, and also can use electronic organizer to for example, to plan what they're going to do for the daily life, for example the timetable and so on. Because one of the flaws of this dyslexia children is they tend to forget what they want to do, for example. So they can use this kind of electronic organizer to help their daily life. All right. Okay, that's about interventions. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, hands-on activities for learning alphabet. Okay, we can see in the next slide. Okay, this example of the tactile letters, but rather than using clays, we use the wires, small wires, okay, to make the alphabet. For example, we see this, okay, this another one is example of making alphabet using cotton, alphabet C, okay, letter C. Okay, next, please. And then can also uh, explore how to make alphabet using petal from the flowers. Okay. Okay, next. Right. So the theoretical background of tactile letters, actually, it has been stated that cognitive learning and physical activities are actually support each other. Okay. And tactile letters can help to improve the children, dyslexic children concentration, because dyslexic children usually they cannot concentrate more than a certain time. Maybe they have like um, short span of concentration. So by using tactile letters can help them to improve their alphabet recognition, and also to increase their self-confidence. And it also be stated that by touching, okay, and doing something related to the alphabet can help the children to recognize and then understand. For example, what is the difference between B and D? This is common for the dyslexic children, because B and D, it mirror each other, right? So how can they recognize the differences? How can they compare it? So one of the way is by using this tactile letters, so they can touch and can do something, manipulate the tactile letters to remember this alphabet. All right. Next slide, please. So in commercial, actually, there are we can find some alphabet learning apps. Okay, because we can see the advantages from it. Okay, next slide, please. So mobile application actually offered a lot of advantages. Okay, for example, one way is learning content, because we can see nowadays there are many mobile apps that support various learning content in language, some in arts, and some also to help to learn maths and so on. So there are varieties of learning content available in mobile apps. And then increase motivation to learn. Okay, why mobile apps can help children, dyslexic children, to increase motivation? Because we know that one is the novelty effect. Okay, novelty effect, because you know that mobile apps is a new thing for them, so they will be interested, and eventually this will motivate them to learn. Okay, and then about the attention, because as I mentioned just now, dyslexic children, they have short span of attention. So usually we cannot ask them to do something more than 10 minutes and so on. So the bite-sized learning that is offered by mobile application can help them focus on the attention. And it also increase the time on the task. Okay, and finally support the independence learning, because we know that children usually they need uh, guidance, a lot of guidance from teachers and also from parents. But mobile application in some way can help increase the independence in the children to learn by their own, but with a minimal guidance from the teachers and also the parents. Okay, because of this affordances of the mobile application, that is why the International Dyslexia Association support the special issues about perspective on language and literacy, about the use of mobile technologies and the mobile apps to support the dyslexic children. So you can refer to this journal to find other publication about the recent mobile apps or mobile technology for this dyslexia children. Okay, next slide. Right, so let me share my research about the use of mobile application to support language learning among dyslexia children. Okay, actually the motivation comes when I see that children actually struggle to recognize alphabet. As I mentioned just now, they tend to confuse which one is B and D, M and W, and so on. So we need something that can help the motivation, and finally to give encouragement for these dyslexic children as well. So I believe there is a need for hands-on kinesthetic. Okay, so hands-on and kinesthetic element which we can find from the tactile letters. But so far, the intervention is either by using tactile letters, for example, by using the clay or plasticine or the alphabet block, or either by using mobile apps to learn about alphabet. So I think that there is a need to combine, to integrate both method to support this dyslexic children. That's why I combine this both intervention approach by using tactile letters and mobile app to support dyslexia children. Okay, next please. So what I got is the best of the both worlds. So actually, I went to Japan the early this March. Okay, supported by Japan Foundation Fellowship to conduct my research about the use of mobile application and also tactile letters, okay, to support the Japanese children. So I've done the sharing session actually last week. So maybe you can see in my recording later. All right. So next, please. So this is one of the respondent, the Japanese, one of the Japanese children. He is 7 years old, and but because ethical procedure, so I cannot show his face here. So this is one of the respondent. Okay, next, please. All right, about the dyslexia problem in Japan, okay, among the Japanese children is actually for them to learn three characters. For Japanese children, okay, for in Japanese language, for those who know, actually they use three characters: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So hiragana is the characters for them to write their own word. For example, if they want to say arigato gozaimasu, so they use hiragana characters. But if they want to write words from foreign word, for example, if they want to write Malaysia, okay, Malaysia, so they use character, katakana character. And kanji is the character that is originated from China. Okay, that's why it's similar. Okay, looks similar, but sometimes the what is it called? The pronunciation is different. Japanese people pronounce the kanji character different from Chinese people. Okay, so this is some of the um, characters that Japanese children usually confuse. For example, if you see from the left side, okay, the hiragana a and o, okay, they confuse this. Okay, if you see at a glance, maybe it look like similar but actually different. Okay, for them, this is one of the problem for the Japanese children. And then the word, the letter ka and ya, okay, the character sa and ki and so on. Okay, I got this resource for the Japan Dyslexia Association in Japan. All right, next please. So my study was underpinned by two theories, okay, framework, okay, set framework. So set framework from Zabala 2002, is made of set, okay, comprised of SETT. Okay, set is for student. So who are the student who will use this platform or technology? And then environment, okay, in which environment? For example, my in my research, it can be done online, okay, because using app, and also offline because of the tactile letters. And task. Okay, so what are the tasks that the children need to do when they use my innovation? Okay, and then also the tools. So what are the tools involved? So the tools is the tactile letters and also the mobile devices, either smartphone or iPad and so on. All right. Okay, next please. So another model that underpin my study is HAT model. So HAT model comprised from HAAT. So H first is human, related to human, and then assistive technology, AT, and also another one is activity. So this model help to support the dyslexic children, their activities, their environment, and the assistive technology. So assistive technology in this research is the tactile letter and also the mobile app. So this is conceptualized as an integrated system. So in this study, this model was applied, okay, to select what are the tools to be used, and also what they need to do as the participant, as for the participation in this learning process. All right, next please. So my research objective is actually four, okay, developed from four statement. Okay, first, to explore the establishment of the framework, okay, to integrate the tactile letters and supported by the mobile application for these dyslexic children. And then I would like to also to explore the elements in the framework. For example, what need to be included in the framework, the content, activity, and assessment, and also to explore the validity and reliability of the framework, and then finally to assess the usability of the framework to help in supporting the alphabet recognition for the dyslexic children. Okay, next we go to the research question. So from the research objective, I got this research question. Okay, for research question, how does the framework of this design and element, okay, design element and specific features provide immersive learning experience for dyslexic children? And then how does the framework, okay, support the dyslexic children with their learning difficulties by improving alphabet recognition? And then third research question, how does the framework improve the alphabet learning process by engaging, okay, engage the children attention? And finally, we want to find the strength and weakness of the framework to support the learning of alphabet. All right, next, please. So the methodology, it was qualitative in nature because I believe that we want to find a rich picture of those involved in the study, which are the first of all is the dyslexia children, and then also from the teachers, and finally we also want we want to find the finding from the parents. So actually, the research is being conducted in two countries. One I mentioned just now in Japan. In Japan, it was conducted with the collaboration of Japan Dyslexia Association, which provide access for me to get the respondents of the dyslexic children, and also for the technology support. I got it from Kagawa National Institute of Technology. Okay, in Malaysia, this is funded by FRGS, Fundamental Research Grant. Okay, and we conduct this research in special needs school, and also dyslexia center run by the private institution as well as NGOs. Okay, next please. Next please. All right. So the innovation, I call it MJ Tactile Apps because M stand for Malay, J for Japanese language. So Malay language and Japanese language tactile apps. So will be available to support Malay language and Japanese language. So Malay language, because we use alphabet, okay, the Roman alphabet. So it will be available to support the small and capital letters. Okay, recognition, for example, the capital, the letter B, D, and so on. Okay, and for the Japanese language, if we see on the top side on the right, okay, support the hiragana and katakana recognition. So this tactile letters is connected to the mobile application using QR code. All right, next please. Let's see the video. Okay, that was a video about how to use the mobile application with the tactile letters. All right, so now we will view the mobile app itself. Okay, can we see the video, please? Konnichiwa. Are you ready to learn your first characters? Here we go. This is Chi. 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 Sas. Chisas. Thanks for watching. So that was the video of one of the character Chi. For example, when these children scan the QR code at the tactile letters character Chi, okay, then they can see in their phone or their mobile device that video just now about how to write the character Chi and how to what is it called it, how to pronounce it as well. So this is the how it looks actually, the connection of the tactile letters and also the mobile app. All right, so I hope that this project will promote inclusiveness, okay, among the underprivileged earliest children, these dyslexic children, okay, in the integration of the mobile application and the tactile letters to support them as the intervention medium. And also the research, I believe that it will bring a valuable input for the stakeholders in special needs education, either it's the teachers, the parents, and also the government, okay, how to embrace the mobile assistive technology and also the tactile letters to support these children. And it's also shed light on the situation about the integration of the assistive technology for countries, for example, like in Japan, in Malaysia, and other countries that use this kind of characters and alphabet. And also, finally, to assist the policymakers and stakeholders in special need education, okay, both in the ministry and also for the NGO, okay, non-profit government organization, to make the full use of this mobile assistive technology. All right. Okay, next. So for the summary, so I believe now we are in the endemic. Okay, the pandemic is nearly subside, so we are in the endemic stage. But during pandemic and beyond, we still need to find alternative, okay, to support these dyslexic children by using latest technology. So from what I shared today about using mobile assistive technology in addition to the traditional method, for example, using the tactile letters. Because I believe that mobile assistive technology offer various advantages for the special need children, okay, not only for this dyslexic children, but can it be to other special need children as well, for example for autistic, down syndrome, and so on. So I think that's all from me today. So if there is a question, so feel free to ask me. But if you don't have the opportunity to ask me today, you can still find me at my email down here, mmuhammad@usm.my. Okay, thank you very much. Back to you, Miss Logus, our moderator.
Hi, Doctor. Okay,
Uh,
welcome. And I think the information that you have shared has been very useful. We realize that mobile application can increase motivation to learn and can also contribute towards the increase of students' attention during learning, especially among students who are dyslexic. But I have a question here that the American Academy of Pediatrics found clear evidence of negative behavior in children as a result of too much exposure to screen time at young age.
mhm.
So could you cruise us through, does the screen time affect dyslexic children?
Okay, all right. That's a nice finding actually. All right, we know for example, technology is like, for example, we use the utensil in the kitchen. It's like a knife, you know. Knife, we can use it for good things. We can use it for cooking, but sometimes if we don't use it properly, it can be a violent tools, can be used to, you know, like to kill people and so on. So it's the same as this mobile technology. So if we use it with proper guidance, with proper ways, for example, we need to create like limit, maybe like after 15 minutes then take a rest. That's why in mobile application usually we encourage the developer to make a bite-sized lesson rather than continuous lesson like my talk today, 30 minutes non-stop. So I think it's not suitable for dyslexic children or maybe for other children as well, because it's too long in one way. So maybe we can make it 10 minutes and then after that rest with with the drill and practice, quizzes, okay, games. So after that, then can continue to other what is it called, other content. So that is one way, so that it will not bring impact for the children to have inappropriate behavior, because too long is not only bring effect to the behavior, okay, they sometimes also to the social interaction. So they will be tend to, you know, not to socialize with other people because they are in their own world. Okay, and another thing is also for the physical effect, like it will bring problem to the eyes. Okay, and we can see that nowadays a lot of small kids also wear glasses, not us the adult but small kids also. All right,
Yeah.
and also about the posture, because when they use phone, they hold the phone, and then they tend to, what is it call it, just look at one point in a long hours, for example, then it will affect the posture, and it's not good for their health. And also we can see there are a lot of problem like carpal tunnel, you know, because they keep using their foot finger by playing the game. So that's another way. So we need to balance the advantages and the disadvantages of mobile technology, so that we can get the benefit, we can reap the benefit of it rather than get the negative effect. Okay, I hope this can help you and enlightening the problem just now.
Okay, yeah, I assume whatever information that you have shared, Doctor, has given our audience great insights about dyslexic issues among our students. I have another question, but this question is going back to a little bit on a basic side. As parents watch their children struggle with dyslexic related learning challenges, it is common for them to always ask themselves, will my child outgrow dyslexia, and can it get worse? Could you just enlighten us about this?
All right. Actually, as a parents, okay, we want the best, right? And we also always want our children to get the best, okay? But somehow, some parents got the challenges, okay, arranged by God. So this is destined by God to have dyslexic children. But nowadays, I think the way for dyslexic children to be successful is brighter than previous, because we have more awareness about dyslexia problem nowadays, rather than I think when my age, it was in the 1980s, I was in primary school. I saw one of my friend cannot read until she was standard 6, okay, 12 years old, she still cannot read, and she dropped out from school. So I think nowadays we don't see that kind of situation anymore. So those dyslexic children is being helped in school. Okay, and after school also now we can see in the university they help these special need children, the dyslexic children. And I also have dyslexic student in USM, and he finally got a degree in TESOL. So can imagine that those who have problem with recognizing alphabet in the beginning, and now graduated from TESOL, okay, courses, and you know TESOL courses, they will become a English teacher one day. So I can see that the development, okay, from those dyslexic, and finally they can be same as other people as well, as long as at the first stage parents cannot be in denial. Okay, so if they if their children were diagnosed as dyslexic, so they have to find the solution, go for the intervention, and also need to what is it call it, have some funding, okay, funding, and invest for the children future. So I believe that all these dyslexia children, and also the other special need people, they get allowance from the government. So maybe can use uh, some of the allowance to invest in getting some intervention, not only in government institution, also can go for the private institution. And other than that, other than okay, supporting what the challenges they got, but we also need to find what are the specialties that they got. I thought with this Japan Dyslexia Association, okay, in Tokyo, what they did with this Japanese dyslexia children is they find the talent among them, because we know that dyslexia people actually they got other talent, unique talent than the those who don't have dyslexia. Some of them very good in arts, okay, them very good in music and so on. So find this talent and nurture it, okay, rather than we just concentrate on the weakness of these dyslexic children. So I believe that they have the same opportunity as other people as well to excel in the future. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that was rather interesting explanation, Doctor. But I have another question here asking you, could you please explain a little bit further how do you actually recognize a person who has dyslexia?
All right.
Could you just
So
bring?
first, is it from the beginning, right? Okay. For usually for people, we can recognize it in the beginning. For example, when they are children, we can see, for example, they have difficulties in recognizing alphabet. For other people, we just take for granted when we read, we just okay B D, we just read like But for this dyslexic children, they have these difficulties in recognizing alphabet. That's one thing. Another thing is when they started to know how to read, they have difficulties to decode, to understand what they read, okay, to connect the sentence into a meaning. So that's one challenges. And other than about language, some of them have problem with the numbers. So for us, we know, right, seven is seven. Okay, seven mean like seven apples in a plate. But for them, they maybe don't understand what is seven actually. So that is one of the problem. And other than about learning, they might also have problem with other things like, for example, to recognize right and left. Okay. So when we say, okay, use your right hand to hold something, so they will hold it using left hand. So they don't know. And then like going for in maybe when some during adult also they have problem to know which way. For example, when the waist, okay, the waist app say, okay, turn right. Okay, 10 minutes after this, turn right. So they have difficulties which one is right and which one is left. So but along the way, some of them they just pass this problem, and that's why some of them are being undetected. So there are adults like that. The president of the Dyslexia Association in Japan herself, okay, she is now 72 years old. Her name is Mrs. Eko Todo. Okay, Eko Todo sama. Okay, Mrs. Eko Todo. She didn't recognize she was a dyslexic until she retired. So before that, she just, she know that there's something wrong with her, but it was undetected. But until after she retired, she recognized she was a dyslexic, and that's why she organized that association to help other dyslexic people. But nowadays, because in, for example, in Malaysia, once the children born, we will bring our child, the baby, to the hospital so we can detect in the early stage, not like the one that happened to the president in Dyslexia Japan, okay, because she only detect her problem after she retired. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Doctor. Your inputs are rather interesting, and I think it will be very useful for parents as well as teachers. I also discovered while I was doing some of my readings on this topic that Tom Cruise, the actor, is also dyslexic. He also had quoted that I had to train myself to focus my attention. I became very visual and I learned how to create mental images in order to comprehend what I read. So I guess many of them who is undergoing dyslexic effects would be actually somehow rather training themselves to go through this kind of mental images and using visual to understand information better. Okay, I think we have come to the end of our session, but before we end, Doctor, your last message to teachers and parents out there.
All right. So my advice, actually, I'm still learning as well, right, about this uniqueness world of dyslexia. Okay, but I believe that for those who have children, the dyslexic children, and for those who himself or herself struggle with dyslexia problem, but we don't take all these challenges to bring us down, okay, but we must see the silver linings beside it, okay. And then as we can see that there are many examples of a successful person, as you said just now, even Tom Cruise, our maverick, is one of the dyslexic. So that's one way to bring the best of ourselves, whatever challenges that we have. All right, thank you very much. I hope this will motivate everyone as well as me as well. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mariam. We have come to the end of our webinar. We hope all of you all have gained information and insights about dyslexia and some of the ways to support and further enhance the learning process of those who are close to you who are detected with dyslexic issues. All right, with that, we thank you for attending this session and we shall meet again in the next session. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Miss Logus.